Evening and welcome back to the Center for Rural Development. For any of you that may not know, my name is Lonnie Lawson. I'm the President and CEO here at the Center for Rural Development. We've had another great week of Rogers Scholars. I will tell you that this week was a little different for us. It was especially different for me because we did not hold the program here. We held it on the campus of Lindsey Wilson College, as you know. So it probably affected me more than it did anybody because I was just not used to not having them at my total access all week long. So it's been a bit of an adjustment. I will also tell you that this class is probably one of the quietest groups I've ever seen in my entire life. When we would have speakers and I would threaten them to ask questions, you just had to drag questions out of them. So it was amazing, though, that they weren't that quiet in leisure time. I don't know what the deal was. What's up with that, guys? Parents, thank you again for letting us share the week with your sons and daughters. It has been a really good week, and I really appreciate the time that you allowed them to be here with us. They're part of a select group now. They're graduates of the Rogers Scholars Program, and with that comes a lot of responsibilities. So thank you. My next comments are for the scholars. Scholars, it has been a pleasure getting to know each of you this week. I truly wish I could have spent more time with you, but with you being on the campus over there, it was a little bit more difficult for me than I truly imagined, but it has been a pleasure getting to know each and every one of you. You are an amazing group of young people. We're thrilled to have you as part of the Rogers Scholars Program. We had some great speakers this week, didn't we? From Governor Martha Lane Collins, Dr. Bill Luckey. One of my favorite quotes that Dr. Bill Luckey says is, "Bloom where you're planted," and I so believe that. We want you back here where you grew up, where you go to school, to make a difference in this region. So that's a great quote, and I hope you take that to heart. And how many of you liked Kenny Davis today? Anybody like Kenny Davis? What an amazing, amazing story. I've heard it for probably 13 or 14 years now, and every single year I get this lump in my throat and I get a little teary-eyed because it is such an amazing story, and I'm glad that you guys got to experience that. And the NASA video conference. Did you learn anything in the NASA video conference? Some pretty amazing stuff. How many people have been to Mars? 0, that's right, you did listen. But it was a great experience and a great week. Some of the speakers you've had this week were philosophical. They wanted to try to give you some tenets to go on. Some wanted to lead you more into leadership. And I want to be a little bit more practical. I want to talk a little bit about everyday life stuff that I wish someone had told me when I was your age. I think maybe if someone had told me some of the things that you've learned this week when I was your age, maybe I wouldn't have made as many mistakes as I have to get to the point that I am. Hopefully I've done okay, but still I would have liked to have had some of this guidance at a younger age, and maybe I wouldn't have had some of those bumps and bruises. First thing I want to say to you is be the very best you can be. Shoot for the stars. There is no limits to what you can do if you will just set your mind to it. Whatever you try, whatever you undertake, give it all you've got. Be the very best that you can be. No matter what it is that you do or where you go, as long as you give it your best, that's all anybody can ask. It's all anybody can ask. So give it the very best that you have every single time you go out. And when I talked with you this morning about community service, every single day when you wake up, Kenny Davis said it, have a positive attitude and think, what can I do today that will make someone's life a little bit better? Every single day when you wake up. If you will do those two things, I guarantee you it will go a long way in your life to giving you a happy life. So do that every single day. My second point, broaden your horizons. You live in a little area of eastern Kentucky, southern and eastern Kentucky, but there's a whole big world out there. And you're not going to compete against the folks in the next county, or 2 counties over, or 5 counties over. When you're out in the workplace, you're going to be competing against students from all over the world, whether they're from China or Russia or India or wherever it might be. That's who you're competing with. You're not competing with somebody from Casey County. So broaden your horizons. Understand what the world is out there and how you fit into that world. One of the things I got the opportunity to do, and I've actually done it a couple times over the last 3 or 4 years, is I was able to take a mission trip to Brazil. And when they first asked me to go on this mission trip, I said, "Are you kidding me? No way. There's no way I'm going there, because you're out on the Amazon River for 12 days, and I like to be in control of my surroundings. I'm one of those guys that likes to be in control of my situation. And I knew there I wouldn't be in control of my situation. But the good Lord put it on my heart that I needed to go on this mission trip. So I did. My first trip was in 2009. We flew into a city called Santarém. We got on a riverboat. We went up the Amazon River for a little ways, and then we branched off on another river called the Tapajós River. And then we were about 12 hours on the river up the Tapajós River. And we went into some villages that were extremely, extremely poor, had nothing. There was no such thing as electricity and running water and bathrooms in the house and all of those luxuries that we think of each and every day. But you know the amazing thing? These were some of the most contented people I have ever met in my entire life. I don't know if it's because that they don't have all the stress, all the worry, they're not going at a dead run all the time, but they were so contented. And I will tell you, I learned a whole lot more on that trip than I gave those folks. And I got the opportunity to go back last year, and I took it in a heartbeat. And I will go again, good Lord willing. If the Lord puts it on my heart, I'd love to go again. Because it opens up my eyes to what else the world is out there. When you have folks that live in a place that I have outbuildings that I store lawn equipment in that is better than the houses they live in, it's an eye-opening experience, folks. So broaden your horizons. If you get a chance to go abroad for a mission trip or a study trip, take it. Because that's who you're competing with. You need to know what the rest of the world operates like. So broaden your horizons. And my last point, please don't ever forget where you came from. You know, I run into folks every single day that seem to want to apologize for living in Eastern Kentucky. I will tell you, I am not one of those folks. I love Kentucky. I love Eastern Kentucky. I love where I'm from. Every single day when I wake up, I just thank the good Lord that He let me be here. Because we live in an area that is one of the most beautiful places on earth, and I've had the opportunity to travel a lot, and I've seen a lot of places. And Eastern Kentucky is as pretty as anywhere you will see anywhere. It is absolutely an amazing place to live. Don't be ashamed of where you grew up because somebody somewhere stereotyped Eastern Kentuckians. You are the best and brightest in anywhere in the world. And you can compete with anybody in the world. Don't ever be ashamed of where you came from. And I think some of you are going to roll your eyes when I say this next one. You are going to be more like your parents than you ever dreamed possible. How many of you like that? I know when I was your age, the last thing I wanted to do was be like my parents because I knew everything and they knew nothing. Is that the way it is? I mean, you got all the information and they know nothing. Well, guess what? They were smart enough to raise you. They were smart enough to make a life. And they're actually pretty cool people if you'll just get to know them. Give them a chance. I lost my dad 6 years ago. And every single day, I miss that man. There's so many conversations I still want to have with that man. Take advantage of every single minute you have with them because you never know when they're going to be gone. So enjoy them. Give them a little bit of a break, okay? Cut them some slack. And the true irony is, as you get a little older, You're going to be just like me. You're going to want to be just like your parents. I really, my dad was my hero. Wasn't a basketball player. It was my dad. So give your parents a break, okay? Scholars, this world needs you. We need your brains. We need your creativity. So be bold. Be confident. Be smart. Be flexible. And be willing to change the world. Because you can do it. You are part of one of the greatest generations that ever came along. You grew up in a technology area where you're not afraid of anything. I see all the stuff that you do on Facebook and Twitter and all of the other social media outlets. Be smart about it. Use the technology to your benefit, but be smart about it. As Chris Smith said to you, once you put it out there, it's out there. And then when you go for a job interview, or you go for a college application, and all of that stuff's out there, guess what? It's out there. You can't take it back and say, well, I didn't really mean that. Well, okay, if you didn't mean it, why did you say it? So just be smart about it. And last of all, have fun. You know, this life is tough enough without us making it tougher. Have fun wherever you go. And once you finish your education and you get in the workplace, find something that lights up your passion. Find it is what you love to do and go after it with everything you got. I tell staff here each and every day, if you're not happy here, you need to find a place where you can be happy because life is too short to spend it miserable. Find what it is that will just absolutely light you up when you wake up in the morning. You just can't wait to get to it. And go after it with everything you have, and you'll do just fine. We are thrilled that you're part of the program. I am expecting you to go back to your communities and do those community service projects. If you need help, we're here to help you. Delaney and I are here every minute of every day to try to help you. Your parents are going to help you. We gave you a lot of good ideas this morning of folks that you can reach out to when you're doing those community service projects. But make a difference in the world. You can do it. And you say, well, what can one person do? Every good idea started with one person. So go out and change the world. I want to thank Delaney for all of his hard work. Delaney, stand up where they can see you. Please give Delaney a round of applause. Delaney does a tremendous job managing these programs, and I have not got to spend near the time with them this year as I typically do. And Delaney does a great job. He knows what the expectations are, and he manages the program. He goes right on, and I just am so thankful to have Delaney. I want to thank all of the center staff. They do an absolutely amazing job in supporting the Rogers Scholars Program and the other youth programs. So if you would, please thank Delaney and the center staff. I want to recognize our RAs, Aaron Burris. Where is Aaron? Oh, that's right. Aaron had to go to her brother's wedding rehearsal, and I knew that, but I forgot that. So thank Aaron Burris, if you will. Madison Wesley. And Logan Finley has been with us this week as well, so thank all those folks. Congressman Rogers is so very proud of this program. When we do these announcements, he says, Lonnie, I can't think of any program that I would rather have my name associated with than the Rogers Scholars Program. And I totally agree with him. And he wished he could have been here this evening, but he did send a message to you scholars. So if we could, let's look at Congressman Rogers' video.
Congratulations on your graduation. I now consider each of you as ambassadors for Southern and Eastern Kentucky. I hope you've enjoyed your experience at the Center for Rural Development. Each of you received several letters of recommendation for your selection into this program, and it's evident that there are people who believe in you and see potential for you to make a difference in our region. You must also believe in yourselves. Continue building on what you've learned this week. Further develop your skills in leadership, technology, entrepreneurship, creativity, teamwork, and community service. All of those elements are vital to our future. Even with cutting-edge technology and lofty business ideas, we can't move forward and be competitive without the leadership to take us there. You've learned a lot about entrepreneurship during the last few days. When you consider who the most successful people in Kentucky are, you'll find they're often entrepreneurs. Without them, thousands of people wouldn't have jobs today. It's about more than money, though, in your wallet. A true entrepreneur fuels the local economy and impacts thousands of families. Our region is looking to you, our future. This program was developed to invest extra time, education, training into our young people. I want you to grasp the reality of the global competition we face as a nation. You must be determined to challenge yourselves and succeed. As you prepare to finish your high school careers now, you'll be faced with a lot of choices. Choose classes and projects that challenge you. Find community service projects to fill your spare time and stay informed about the constant changes in technology. Anytime you're viewed as a leader, you must also understand the moral obligation you've got to make, the good choices that you make, and to withstand negative pressures. As an ambassador, you're always welcome to join in some of our youth projects with Pride and Unite. You can organize your own Pride cleanup team, and we'll supply you with the gear that you need. Or you can organize a Pride Club or a Unite Club in your school. We also have several youth projects scheduled across the region with Operation Unite, like Camp Unite, or Shoot Hoops, Not Drugs. That's with former Wildcat star Jeff Shepard. There's a multitude of ways you can be a leader right now, at home. I look forward to seeing great things from each of you. Congratulations again, and I wish you all the best.
And now I want to invite up to the podium Delaney Stevens to take us through the rest of the program. Delaney, would you come up, please?
Parents, welcome to the Center for Rural Development. I know we kicked off the program at Lindsey Wilson College on Sunday, and I want to welcome you here. It's been an incredible week. These students, they've got to experience some amazing things, but I first want to say how proud I am of them. They're very, very well behaved. We haven't had any problems this week. They're respectful, and I think they've had some fun, and you're going to get to hear from them tonight about their experiences, the majors that they participated in. Whenever you all walked in, I'm sure you got to see a few of the activities that we did this week. Aaron and Madison and Keothe, they worked on a PowerPoint this week to kind of fill you guys in, but I'm also sure I saw a lot of likes, comments, shares, tweets about the activities that we've done. So I know that you've been staying informed not only through Facebook and other social media outlets, but I'm sure you've talked to your scholars as well. So I want to thank you for your support for these scholars. This year, it's been a learning experience, not only for me and our staff, but also for the program. In its 16 years since 1998, this is the very first year we've moved the program away from Somerset. And I couldn't be more happy of how things went this week. Lindsey Wilson College, they are an incredible institution, and I'm very happy to say that we had a great week, and it was a really good experience. Not only do these students get to spend a week on a college campus, but we also got a lot of other great benefits from being there. There's a few individuals I want to thank that really this program wouldn't have been possible. It wouldn't have run as smooth as it did without those individuals' help. Janie Hopkins, she's the Director of Student Activities at Lindsey Wilson. She's not here tonight, but she played an instrumental role in helping me coordinate everything, making sure everything was running on task. And her Assistant Director of Student Activities, Keothe Patel, Kealthi, will you please stand? She really did a great job. She was with us pretty much the entire week. We also had the opportunity to network, get to know, and spend some time with people on campus who they love students. They love spending time with students, developing these students. They're leaders on their campus and in their communities. And Chris Schmidt, he's the Dean of Students over at Lindsey Wilson College. He does a phenomenal job with their mission over there. And he coined the term live, learn, and lead. And he got to talk to these students a little bit this week about that. And I'm not going to ruin it for you parents because I know that our ambassadors are going to get up here and talk to you about that. But Chris, I really want to thank him. I want to thank Dean Adams, who was with us on Sunday to help us kick off the program. President Bill Luckey, he really supports this program. And I want to thank all of those individuals. Joel Peterson as well. He did a great job on Sunday with our getting to know you and team building activities. And I said this Sunday when we kicked the program off that Sunday and Monday, they're crucial. They are absolutely crucial to getting these students interacting, communicating with each other. We have 32 students in this program this week, and they're from 26 different counties, I believe. So, you realize the importance of getting them together, getting them to know one another, and trusting one another. And it's safe to say that in these 6 days, they've really become close. I think they probably have some friends, new friends that they will continue to keep in touch with. One thing we do with the program, we try to keep tabs on everybody. The program started in 1998, so I really tried to track students from this program since 1998. We've had 872 graduates since then. So that's one of my goals is to find out where everybody is. Are they still in the region? Where did they go to college? What are their careers? What did they get their degree in? And I had a student, a woman the other day, about a month ago, she contacted me. She wanted contact information from her class of Rogers Scholars when she went through in 1998. It happened that she was on vacation and she was actually visiting her roommate from Rogers Scholars in 1998. And so I hope that 15 years down the road, whenever you all are hopefully in Kentucky somewhere, you guys will still be staying in touch. And one way you can do that is through the Youth Programs Reunion that we host every year, we put on. But social media is also a great tool as well. So I'm sure that you guys will stay in touch as you go back to your communities. Parents, you'll get the opportunity to hear from these students tonight. They have done a lot this week. It's really amazing to comprehend how much they fit into 6 days. They've heard some from phenomenal speakers. They've got to experience majors. They've done team building, leisure time, and in those 6 days, they've really grown not only as students, but also as leaders. And I want to talk to you scholars for a minute about you being leaders. You guys are an elite group of students. We had nearly 400 applications this year for this program. So it's very competitive to get in here. But don't go back and just, separate yourself from everybody. I want you guys to lift others up. The whole goal of this program and the Center for Rural Development is to give people and empower people in our communities to really become leaders and lift communities up. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this week. Whenever you go back, I want you to share your experiences with your friends, your family members, and others around you. And I hope that you guys will help us, our mission here at the center, to really make Southern and Eastern Kentucky just shine. So please, I encourage you to do that. This week you heard from Chris Schmidt about his Live, Learn, Lead, but you heard from Miss Benton with communication. And some of the things you probably learned was don't be afraid to fail. You may not get it right the first time. And certainly if you do set a goal and you don't achieve it, keep going. Don't afraid to challenge yourself. Continue to challenge yourself. President Luckey said the other day, don't just be good, be great. So whenever you go back, I encourage you to do all of those things. Parents, I want to thank you all for your support, not only of these scholars, but for the Rogers Scholars Program. On Sunday, we sold some houseboat tickets and some blankets, and I think we sold some tonight. And I want to thank you for your support. These programs, they wouldn't be possible without your support and contributions from people like you. This is a great opportunity for students. They really don't have to pay anything to attend these programs, and we always try to fundraise. We always try to keep people in the loop about what we're doing here. And even though you might have bought a blanket on Sunday or bought one tonight, you probably won't use it till October, November, December. But hopefully when you do pull that blanket out, it'll give you some more memories of this program and what your students have learned. So thank you for your support. To kick off tonight's program, I want to introduce our Rogers Scholars Ambassadors. Each year, every week, these students, they select from among two of their peers ambassadors. And ambassadors every year, throughout the year, they serve as a guiding force for program curriculum. They help us plan our youth programs reunion. And they also stay active by staying with our mission with Rogers Scholars. We do a community service project every time we meet. So this year, these students, they selected two of their ambassadors, and they're going to come up here and talk about pretty much everything we did this week except for the majors, because you're going to get to hear from those majors here in a little bit. But I'd like to welcome to the stage this year's ambassadors, Lindsay Jasper and Chandler Hutchinson.
My name's Chandler Hutchinson, and I'm from Pulaski County.
My name's Lindsay Jasper, and I'm also from Pulaski County. During our time at Rogers Scholars, we were exposed to numerous ways to develop skills in leadership and entrepreneurship.
When we weren't split up in our majors, we were in sessions, listening to speeches and having fun with each other. Here is just a mere glimpse of what happened this week.
Upon arriving at Lindsey Wilson, a lot of us didn't know each other. Joel Peterson is Lindsey Wilson's recreational coordinator, and he came up with creative ways of breaking the ice, which began the friendships that were formed throughout the week.
On Monday, we went to the Western Kentucky University Challenge Course. When we got there, we immediately engaged in many different activities. These games showed us many different qualities that are severely important in developing more mature leadership, teamwork, and entrepreneurship.
Tuesday, we had the privilege to meet Dr. Hackbert and his 20 students. They interacted with us about pursuing an entrepreneurship path. We got to design and build a prototype of a wallet and also construct a noodle tower to strengthen teamwork within the group.
After the entrepreneurship session, 21 colleges participated in a college fair. We split into groups of 2, and people went to each college booth to talk to them about our college future and what we need to do to get there.
That night, we were invited into President Lucky's home for a formal dinner and etiquette training. Ms. Sue Stivers assisted us in how to properly act when eating and communicating. She said that you don't have to come from a big place to do big things.
Afterwards, we went and ballroom dance. This is what I was dreading when I went to Rogers Scholar. I am not known for my dancing skills and did not know what to expect. We got there, and our instructor, David Escobar, taught us step by step how to successfully dance the waltz and the swing. It turned out not to be as bad as I thought.
On Wednesday, representatives came to speak about the Special Olympics of Kentucky. They explained how being a part of this program is a great way to get involved with community service. For example, the Polar Plunge takes place in 6 different locations across Kentucky and is a fun way to support a good cause.
Later, we got to listen to the former governor of Kentucky, Miss Martha Collins. She reiterated the point that no matter where you come from, you can make a difference in your community.
Later that day, Mr. President Lucky came and spoke about the importance of staying in your area so it can be bettered. He said, and I quote, "Bloom where you're planted."
The last speaker we had was a former U.S. Olympic team basketball player, Kenny Davis. He gave us a background on how he got into the Olympics and his training. He shared the tragedies of the 1972 Olympics where athletes were captured and killed. He told us this opened his eyes to how delicate life is and how it is not what clothes and house and car you own, it's how you impacted other people and set an example for the next generation to follow. This week at Rogers Scholar was truly an experience of a lifetime. Thank you.
We also had a birthday this week. Matthew Crawford turned 17, and it was just a really great time for us to celebrate with him, and we just became a really close group, and I'm definitely going to miss you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Besides everything that Lindsay and Chandler talked about, these students, they get to experience majors, and we spend about 10 to 12 hours in these majors. And whenever you all were accepted into the program, we sent you an acceptance packet, and you returned that, and you got to pretty much fill out your choice of your top major that you want to participate in. The three majors that we do are engineering, healthcare, and video production. And while every student didn't get the major they wanted, healthcare, it seems to be just by far the most popular major, but I'm quite certain that the students who were in engineering and video production, they had just as much fun as the healthcare majors. And you'll get to see that stuff here in just a minute. We're very fortunate to have the support of not only Lindsey Wilson College and the speakers that come in here, but the people who actually deliver on these majors, give them instruction, and get them thinking about the future, not only with healthcare, engineering, or video production, but I mean, it's incredible to see people, professionals, care so much about young people, care about their development, and so we're really fortunate to have many different people involved with this program. So the first major that I'd like to welcome up to the stage is the engineering major. They're going to talk about what they did and the representatives from certain institutions that helped them throughout the week. Guys, you want to come on up?
Excuse me. I'm Matthew Crawford from Pulaski County.
Hello, I'm Jay Phillips from Harlan County.
Hi, I'm Morgan Mills, and I'm from Bell County. I'm Caitlin Sammons, and I'm from Bath County.
I'm Emily Major, and I'm from Garrett County.
I'm Madison Griffiths, and I'm from Greene County.
I'm Alex Little from Leslie County.
I'm Isaac Allen from Cumberland County.
I'm Tyler Bush from Carter County.
I'm Cassidy Breeding from Letcher County.
I'm Heather Griffith from Boyd County.
And I'm Candy Patrick from Wolfe County. This week, us scholars got to work with Dr. Walcott and his colleague Randall. Dr. Walcott is a former professor from the University of Kentucky. They are specialized in electrical and computer engineering. They talked to us about the different types of engineering and all the opportunities that field offers.
We learned about 6 flavors of engineering this week. The first 3 are civil, mining, and chemical.
The final 3 are mechanical, nuclear, and agriculture.
After Dr. Walcott, taught us the different flavors of engineering, he took us outside and we played these team building activities. And one of these activities were there was a little ring and it had 4 strings tied around it, and there was a tennis ball on top of it. And one person had to have a hold of each string, so there was 4 people, and the object was to get that tennis ball to the other base and set it down without dropping it. And so obviously it took a lot of teamwork. Everybody had their share in getting the ball over to the other side, and it was a lot of fun. Thanks a lot.
After participating in the team building activities, we came back inside and they had set up a quiz bowl game for us to play, and we would buzz in for the questions of each of the engineering parts, and you got a prize when you answered the question right. Dr. Walcott and Randall also showed us how to make a small motor out of a battery, a magnet, a piece of string, or a piece of wire, and 2 paper clips.
Okay, so on Thursday, the engineering majors got to work with 2 professors from Western Kentucky University and their student, and now our friend, Tiny Tim. And the first being Dr. Joel Lenore from Lenore City, Tennessee, with a doctorate from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville in mechanical engineering. Also, Dr. Julie Ellis, who began as an art major and took her creative ideas with visual learning to eventually get her doctorate at Georgia Tech in electrical engineering. Tim is a current engineering student and was a former Marine that worked on nuclear firearms. We appreciate the efforts of WKU to partner with Rogers College.
In the morning, our first project was to build a hanging mobile. As you can see, we compiled a couple of different mobiles to make one massive mobile. It was all done by balancing mathematical equations that resulted in us having one large balanced mobile.
After our lunch break that day, we all took turns building a 3-dimensional object on a program called SolidWorks on Mr. Lenore's computer. SolidWorks helps engineers build objects more accurately. Students at Western Kentucky University use this program daily to predict what their projects will look like before they begin to build them. Dr. Joel Lenore essentially taught us how to freeze time using a sander and a strobe light. First, we had to find the rotations per second of the strobe light, of the sander. The sander had a piece of tape on it, so when you turned off the light and you matched the strober to the sander, like the speed of it, then when you turn the light out, it would appear as if it wasn't moving. It was still. So we essentially froze time.
Our first high-speed photography project consisted of dropping water balloons from the 2nd floor of the Health and Science building. The camera used to capture this footage takes 1,200 frames per second.
So I came up with the bright idea to take the high-speed camera and have, this wasn't WKU's or Delaney's or anybody's idea, it was my idea. So we had a camera set up, and I decided that I wanted to stand in front of the camera and someone throw a water balloon at my face. And we have a video to show you of the droppings and the balloon to the face.
these guys, they experienced the engineering major and all of that, but they're actually pretty good with technology too, because they put that video together, they edit it, so they actually got a little bit of taste of the video production as well. I think they had a good time, and I know there were several students in there that preferred healthcare, but I think they might have changed their minds. I don't know. We'll see about that. The next major that I'd like to invite to come up is the healthcare careers. We're fortunate to have a great partnership with Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital here in Somerset. And while we changed gears a little bit this year and moved over to Lindsey Wilson College, we were fortunate to get involved with their nursing program over there. So they got to do some things with them too. But guys, if you want to come on up and share your experiences.
My name is Jacqueline Johnson, and I'm from Jackson County.
I'm Chandler Hutchinson. I'm from Pulaski County.
My name's Ben Fitch. I'm from Martin County.
I'm Lindsay Jasper, and I'm from Pulaski County.
I'm Morgan Emerson, and I'm from Casey County.
I'm Mark Campbell from Magoffin County.
I'm Kerrigan Sammons from Johnson County.
I'm Dylan Marson, and I'm from Russell County.
I'm Ricky Michelle Neat, and I'm from Adair County.
I'm Jessica Dennis Bay, and I'm from Whitley County.
So we are the health care program, and what we do, major, and what we've done this week is that we went to Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, and we've got to do like hands-on type stuff, and we've listened to speeches, and it was really neat. And the first thing that we've done is listen to the physical therapist, Stephen House, and what he told us was the 3 different types of therapy. There's physical, speech, and occupational. And you need these therapies, like if you had a stroke or if you just had a surgery or something like that. Physical has to do with the whole body, and that's like learning how to walk after a surgery or something. And then occupational is like learning how to do everyday activities, like brushing your teeth or brushing your hair or putting on clothes. Speech has to do with like swallowing or just trying to correct your speech. And he told us that you would need these services in hospitals, nursing homes, and schools. So.
After listening to the therapist talk, we went to go do a echocardiogram, where I was volunteered by my group to have an echocardiogram performed on me. And as you can see, I had to take off my shirt, and they put gel on my chest to get an image of my heart. And they actually put it on my throat and on my stomach and on my head and up here and everywhere else, just to look at everything. But I had to lay flat on my back on a gurney, and I had the instrument showed an image of the inside of my heart on a screen, and they used that to check to see if the arterial walls are okay and the structure of the heart is functioning as it's supposed to. And that's what we did.
Next, we visited the cath lab in the hospital. We saw both a heart cath and a kidney cath, and the doctor would be operating on the patients, and we could see a live feed on a monitor in the room. Then we could observe the blood vessels as they were searching for blockages, etc. And lastly, the staff that accompanied us would explain what we were looking at exactly and the procedure that occurred in the hospital in the cath lab.
Okay, so after we visited the cath lab, we went back to the conference area, and Dr. Shoptaw came and spoke just a little bit about the attitude that you have to have when you go into the medical profession. He actually told us that in order to be an effective caretaker, you have to be affable, available, able, and optimistic. And I really agreed with what he had to say, because to me, healthcare isn't about the money. And if it is, I mean, I don't think you're a very good doctor because you're not in it for the right reasons, and that's just a very important part of being in that profession. We also got to practice stitching, not on actual people. we had these little square things of foam that had a slice in them, and we used an actual thing that they use to stitch up. And Dr. Shoptaw just went through and he told us how to do it and just, instructed us on that. And I found it very difficult. So that's what I have to practice for, I guess.
Next, we visited the ER, and we got to talk with the director there. We learned that the importance of timing is very key in the ER and how everything is done in as quick as possible. Wait time for patients with heart pain used to be 90 minutes, and now they have it down to 60 minutes. And wait time for other patients used to be like 45 minutes, but now it is down to 15. The ER in Somerset sees 115 patients on average a day. We also learned about a gyroscope, as you see Chandler and Lindsay up there, and how it is used. The doctor used this to look down their throats to see if there was any blockage of their breathing. That's what that's used for. And then Somerset's ER just recently became a stroke center and is working toward becoming a chest pain center. Also, while we were touring the hospital, a code blue occurred, and we learned that during this emergency, that a professional from each health department comes together to work to save the patient's life.
After we went to the ER, we went to the radiology center, and here they showed us a CT scan, which with a CT scan they can see what how things in the brain if you have a concussion or brain trauma, and also they can see parts of the abdomen to see if you have any blockages there. And after they took us to see actually the CT scan, she took us back to the room that they do all the controls, and they had a skull with the brain, and it was three-dimensional, so we could see all the parts of the brain and what was wrong with it.
Okay, so then we went to the other part of the hospital and we visited the lab. At the lab, we were able to see bacteria that had been removed from various patients, and they used different types of antibiotics to see how, if that antibiotic would fight that bacteria off or not. We then saw recently removed tonsils, and how they would find what was wrong is they would put it in a centrifuge. After that, we saw blood that had been drawn for transplants, frozen plasma for transplants, and platelets for cancer patients.
And after that, we met up with Judith from the cardiopulmonary area of the hospital, and she talked to us about what she did and how they stress test patients to see how well their hearts are functioning, and about their pulmonary function tests, which test patients for asthma, and they use that to decide what medication they need, and they do that by inducing an asthmatic attack. And they do this. They also do a test for diseases like epilepsy and etc. And they do it by the same way, by trying to induce a seizure. And after that, we got to see where they keep all the newborns in the nursery. And after we walked through there, we got to talk to some of the crew from the air evac helicopter at the hospital. And they told us about their job and what you'd expect to see from it. And we also got to see the helicopter land, which was pretty cool.
After leaving Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, we had the opportunity to visit Lindsey Wilson College nursing area, specifically the Gooden Nursing Center. There we had a wonderful privilege to meet Miss Monica Kidder from Lindsey Wilson, and she taught us many things, including showing us a diagram of the heart and the many functions of the heart. Also, as you can see, we had to pair up with a partner and we had to check each other's pulse. In that time, we had exactly 1 minute to count how many times we could feel the other person's pulse. Not only that, but we actually got to see simulators. And simulators are like alive mannequins. It's really interesting because it's crazy what technology can do nowadays. And we got to see many different ones. It looks like they were actually breathing. And then we got to see one where she looked like she had just had a baby. And you could see her baby bump. And then you could actually feel the baby. And it felt like the actual weight of the baby with the heavy head and having to hold it gently. And that was just an amazing experience. Also, we learned how to check each other's blood pressure. The normal blood pressure is around 120/80. And she told us not to focus necessarily on the numbers, but we actually got to use a stethoscope and be able to hear each other's pulse. And it was just an amazing experience, especially wanting to go into the medical field.
Okay, after we did that, Miss Kidder went over the diagram of a pig's heart, and she showed us all the structures that were in the pig's heart, and we learned that some of them are the aorta, atria, ventricles, superior and inferior, and cava and valves. And then after we acquired the knowledge of these structures, we went to the lab and started a dissection of the pig's heart. The pig's heart is actually very large, and it smells, but it's okay. And once we had cut open, the structures were actually easily recognizable, and then we started experimenting, finding all the other structures. And she went around and would ask us questions, and then she would tell us, imagine how the blood would flow, and we follow all the valves and the veins. And then after we did the dissection, we went back to the classroom, and we watched a heart transplant. And that surgery was very intense, but I would have to say it was very intriguing, because it was just very cool to see an old heart beating, and all of a sudden it's not beating, and you get a new heart and it's beating again. So that really definitely helped me decide that I wouldn't want to major in this field, but I would like to be in the medical field. And that was it. Our experience was really fun, and I'm glad we picked this major.
The last group you're going to get to hear from tonight is the video production students. And I'm particularly really happy with this major this year, simply because being at Lindsey Wilson College allowed us to enhance, build upon, and really upgrade this major. We got to do some cool things. These students got to do some cool things with this major. So I'd like for them to come up. They're going to talk about what they did, and you'll get to see a little bit actually of their finished product. So you guys want to come on up?
Hello, my name is Katie Corder, and I'm from Pulaski County.
I'm Sabash Goody, and I'm from Floyd County.
I'm Sienna Staley, and I'm from Clinton County.
I'm Alex Helton, and I'm from Knox County.
I'm Taryn Haddix, and I'm from Pulaski County.
I'm Kennedy Breeding, and I'm from Letcher County.
I'm Casey Young, and I'm from Breathitt County.
I'm Ray Dixon, and I'm from Perry County.
I'm Luke Huffman, and I'm from Pulaski County.
I'm Kelly Isfer, and I'm from Estill County. As Donnie said, our major this week was video production, and we got the task of getting to produce a newscast this week.
We were split into 2 groups of 5 and only given 2 days to complete the job.
One group had the job of covering leadership in the community.
The other group was assigned leadership on campus and the actions these leaders must take.
Everyone had their own niche in the video production process.
Some of us questioned our interviewees, while some of us were working with high-tech cameras to capture it all.
After our interviews, we had the daunting task of editing our video and putting all the pieces together.
We had the privilege of using an editing software called Final Cut Pro 10, which allowed us to see what it's really like to make a video.
In addition, we learned that after the interviews and after the filming, there really is a lot of work that goes on in the editing room and behind the scenes when it comes to video production.
And now that you have an understanding of how much dedication, time, and effort we put into making this one video, we would love to show you the finished product.
Hello and welcome to the Roger Scholar edition of the LWC News Magazine. I'm Kaylee Isford.
And I'm Subash Goody. As Roger Scholars, we spent 2 days interviewing, shooting, writing, and editing to produce this edition of the LWC News Magazine.
First, we devoted our efforts to a story involving our host community to the city of Columbia.
This story is empowering and inspiring in that even small rural communities can make a big change.
Columbia has gone green, and our team of reporters set out to find more about this eco-friendly city.
At the Chamber of Commerce, one individual has gone above and beyond to keep her community environmentally friendly.
We are trying to make an impact of going green. Thanks to Lindsey Wilson College and the program that they have, I served on the committee to get that started. I played an active role, and then by getting the college involved, then I had the responsibility of getting the community involved in going green.
Stivers has also helped the community by supporting many eco-friendly projects.
The county has a building out on 55 North that people can take their things to be recycled. We recycle glass, paper. You can have your paper shredded there, things that you don't want to put in the garbage.
Along with Sue Stivers, Mayor Harris has also taken the initiative to make Columbia a greener place.
We pick cardboard and plastics up from all our businesses in town. It also helps the city. We think that it might help reduce what we're putting in the landfill. It would save the city money by paying less to take stuff to the landfill and hopefully make things greener where we could recycle. And the city and the college have always worked hand in hand. There's well over 2,000 to 3,000 people up there each day, and we've always worked together on projects. I know the college students, they come down here and they take a part in the Pride program. When we go around, we pick up trash at least a couple times a year, and we work together on numerous projects. On Malvina Farkle Day, the college, they go around without the community and do projects like that. But we're excited that Lindsey Wilson College is in Columbia, Kentucky.
What doesn't make it in students' mouths makes it to the compost. Even on campus, the college has taken extra steps to go green. They have touchscreen monitors that provide tips on going green and compare energy use among dormitories.
And there's the old saying, there's no I in team. It takes a team of people working together to accomplish a goal. I always said that whether it be in basketball or any other event you're doing, when the community works together, everybody wins.
It takes everyone working together to keep Columbia a cleaner and greener place.
Good gravy. What an amazing story about how every individual can make a difference.
Our next story brings us back to campus. What's the college buzz, just not at LWC, but across the nation?
Social media is changing the way students exist in college life.
Whether positive or negative, social media is making an impact.
Our Roger Scholars reporters on the campus of Lindsey Wilson College wanted to find out more.
Social media has recently caused controversy on many campuses, but the leaders here at Lindsey Wilson are acting to stay on top of it.
A large part of what I do every day is have to manage
social media issues. The problem is that that is all public. Once it's out there, it's out there. For example, on Twitter, they'll post in 140 characters that person's character, which obviously they say it in a way that is not very kind. It's disrespectful, and so that causes a lot of animosity between people. Well, the problem is that other people can see their pictures, and they'll see student athletes or maybe student government people or just you name it that are in positions where they do not want to be seen in that light. I pay no attention to it because often they're slanderous, they're hateful, they're mean, and everyone thinks it's funny until then it attacks them.
Dean of Students Chris Schmidt chooses to take a passive approach on the matter.
And I said the best way to close the account down is to not give the account unfollow it, don't send it anything, and don't be part of the conversation. If you're not part of the conversation, then you protect yourself. And they usually always disappear. When I've narrowed it down to who I believe it possibly is, what I usually do then is I figure out who their circle of friends are. I'll plant a seed. I'll be like, it'd be really awful if I was able to find out who this person is. I said, because they could be held responsible. It's okay to run the account as long as they run the account appropriately. It's fun. It's okay to poke fun, but don't be malicious because that's slander. So I try to educate the other people, and it's amazing how that information immediately gets back to other people. I don't just do that for social media. I do that for just about any issue on campus.
Also joining the conversation on social media on campus is student athlete Tony Horn.
I can connect with my family back home, my friends. A lot of my friends are around the world right now, so I can connect with them over Facebook, Twitter, etc. I can see them face to face with my Skypes and my boo-boos. I get to interact with peers of mine, especially on game days. I can send them announcements saying, hey, the game's tonight, you should come out, or I can promote other team sports. I can keep up with everything that's going on campus. I can keep up with what's serving in the caf. So I don't like anything to do with negativity, especially over social media. Social media can be used as a positive thing, and it should be used as a positive thing at all times.
Even though social media has both positive and negative effects, it's clear that we here at Lindsey Wilson College are focusing on the positive. For LWC News Magazine, this has been Kennedy Breeding reporting.
Thanks for tuning in to the Roger Scholar edition of the LWC News Magazine. I'm Kaylee Isford.
And I'm Sabash Goody. From Lindsey Wilson College, stay classy!
Now, parents, you might be wondering what that jar was on Mayor Harris's desk, and I want to talk a little bit, just real briefly, about some of the things that are really happening on Lindsey Wilson College. We have our Rogers Explorers program that is for rising high school freshmen, and a couple of weeks ago, whenever we were over there with that program, there's a guy over there, Doug Keaton, and he is doing some phenomenal things with sustainability on campus. So the jar that you saw was actually biodiesel fuel that Lindsey Wilson College is producing. They take all of the excess food waste from their dining center and they turn it into biodiesel, and then they actually recycle the leftover biodiesel from that, turn it into bars of soap. Then they're taking the leftover of that process and turning that into wood chips to burn. So they're doing a lot of cool things over there, and I'm really happy that we were able to get to experience some of that through the video production majors. So all these majors, they did a really great job, and I'm happy that we were on campus because some of the things that we did this year with these majors wouldn't have been possible if we were only at the center. So I want to thank Lindsey Wilson College for their support, not only with the majors, but with the Rogers Scholars Program. Before we hand out certificates, I want to invite one of our RAs, Madison Wesley. She's actually a former Rogers Scholar from 2007, is that right? And she is going to talk to you about the Doug Reese Memorial Award. And Madison was actually the very first Doug Reese Award winner. And so, Madison.
Beginning 7 years ago, we began awarding the Doug Reese Memorial Award to the scholar that scores the highest on their Rogers Scholars application. A. Douglas Reese was well known throughout southern and eastern Kentucky as a prominent attorney, civic leader, and fabulous storyteller. Doug was born in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1943, and his family moved to Jackson County, Kentucky when he was a child. Doug passed away suddenly on January 4, 2006. At the time of his death, he was chairman of the board of directors at the Center for Rural Development, and he served on the board of directors of the center from its inception in 1995 until January 2006, and was board chairman from July 2004 until his death. He is survived by one daughter, Amy, and one son, Adrian, as well as one brother, Gary Reese. He was a consummate politician. Just after his admission to the bar in 1971 and through 1986, Reese was in private practice in Clay and Laurel counties and served as city attorney for Manchester for 5 years during that time. In the 1980s, Doug moved from Manchester to London, Kentucky. His law practice in the 1980s was one of the largest coal law practices in eastern Kentucky. Doug served in a number of law firms until 1998 when he again went into solo private practice in London. He served on numerous boards, commissions, and civic clubs during his lifetime, and he absolutely loved Eastern Kentucky. The Doug Reese Memorial Awards are given to the highest-scoring Rogers Scholars selected each year. A copy of his entire biography will be given to the winners of this award, along with a plaque, a handmade dulcimer donated by Dr. Bruce Ayers, the president of Southeast Community and Technical College, and a $250 college scholarship to any Kentucky college or university. And the 2013 Doug Reese Memorial Award goes to Chandler Hutchinson.
Pull this file out for me.
Yeah, do you want it out? We're now going to call up the scholars one at a time to receive their certificates. Isaac Allen. Cassidy Breeding. Kennedy Breeding. Tyler Bush. Mark Campbell. Katie Corder. Matthew Crawford. Jessica Dennisbay. Ray Dixon. Morgan Emerson. Benjamin Fitch. Heather Griffith. Maston Griffiths. Sabash Guti. Taryn Haddix. Alex Helton. Luke Huffman. Chandler Hutchinson. Kaylee Isfert. Lindsay Jasper. Jacqueline Johnson. Alex Little. Emily Major. Dylan Marson. Morgan Mills. Ricky Michelle Neat. Kennedy Patrick. Jay Phillips. Caitlin Sammons. Kerrigan Sammons. Sienna Staley. Casey Young. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your 2013 Rogers Scholars.
Before we close, there's a few folks I really need to thank, if you'll just allow me for a few minutes. First and foremost, Congressman Rogers. Would you give him a huge round of applause? He is such a tremendous, tremendous support, and with all the work he has going on in D.C., for him to come back and take time to do the work that he does in the district is just absolutely amazing. So we're so fortunate to have Congressman Rogers. The Center's Board of Directors that, again, lets me have these youth programs. Between our contributions, what we can fundraise, the board picks up the difference on those, and the Center Board is just extremely supportive of this program. Would you thank the Center's Board of Directors? We got some staff supporting us tonight behind the scenes that you don't see. Shannon Carter, Jonathan Foster, and Stephanie Walls. Stephanie's up in the sound and lighting booth. Would you thank those folks? And then I've got a list of folks, so you can hold your applause until I finish this list. The University of Kentucky College of Engineering, Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital, Western Kentucky University College of Engineering, Lindsey Wilson, the entire Lindsey Wilson staff and faculty, and Dr. Bill Lucky. South Kentucky RECC, who holds a golf tournament to support this program. They've raised over $175,000 over the last 11 years to support the Rogers Scholars Program. The Moan Family Foundation, AT&T, Mr. Milton Huffaker, Conley Bottom Resort, and all of our speakers and presenters this week. Would you thank those folks, please? And last but certainly not least, I thank all of you parents. None of this would be possible without your support, and we really do appreciate everything that you do and for allowing us to spend the week with your sons and daughters.